And I have another special guest with us. I'm bringing on another coach to talk to you about some really awesome, incredible things, not only that are coming up, but just about her success story in general. But before we get into that, and before I introduce my lovely co host, I want to remind everyone that we have the hairdresser hotline. We are here to listen to your voicemails, listen to your text, or read your text messages. A reminder that no one will be responding to you, but we are here. And if you'd love us to share your story on the air, on our podcast, and give our advice publicly, go ahead and text us or call us at 201 564 5007. And now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce my right hand man, woman. Literally could not live without her. Beck Sanders, who is the director of admissions for the Hype Hair Academy. And she is also our student admin over here at DTH slash keep David and I completely on our feet and running and successful. Hi, Beck.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. So we're going to jump right into it because I think it's so funny. Our students are going to love this, and maybe a lot of non-students, because so many people have talked to you over the years through our discovery
Yeah.
calls, through email. Anytime anyone
Mhm.
messages for a question, they want a free coaching call, Beck is your person. Like,
It's
if you're a
me.
student and you have had issues, Beck is your person. So, like, our students listening to this, they probably don't know your journey. So I'm really excited for them to kind of get to know you on a personal level outside of like their payments, or,
Mhm.
getting them hooked up with their curriculum or their dashboard or all of those fun things. And then I know people are listening that have had calls with you and maybe didn't sign up for coaching yet, but I hope this is the thing that's going to get them in there. But let's start from the very beginning. Tell us how you found DTH and what made you go, oh no, I'm going to be a part of this.
So my position in the industry is really unique because I'm not a hairdresser. I didn't ever go to cosmetology school. I feel like I should get like an honorary degree at this point.
I agree.
But yeah.
You know
um
the industry probably better than most of us.
and hair, I can pretend I
Mhm.
can pass as a hairdresser.
You cosplay
But
as a hairdresser.
yeah, I was working with through a series of events, I ended up working and helping my mom operate the Hype Hair Studio.
Mhm.
And we were doing a level system structuring. And I have a bachelor's in psychology and a background in retail management. And I
Mhm.
went into a small business and I was like, I feel like maybe these things could be a little more systemized. There can be better structure. There could be we really wanted to center the hairstylist experience. And through that thought process, I came across the podcast and I started listening
I love
to
that.
and now here I am.
And now cut to, what year was
Mhm.
this? Do you remember?
Oh, so I started working for the Hype in the end of 2018.
Mhm.
I think I came across DTH in 2019, and then it
Okay.
probably took a solid almost year of convincing to get Chris
Yeah.
to sign up for coaching.
And for those of you, if you're putting the connections together and you're an avid listener, Chris, Beck's mom, owner of the Hype Hair Studio,
Mhm,
was on a couple weeks ago. So go
mhm.
listen to that episode as well. And what was it? Like, you listened to the podcast and you were just like, you were persistent, because she even said in her podcast, she was like,
Yeah.
she wasn't going to let this go. Like, you're, and that's so, I can see it coming from a place of like, okay, my daughter's not a hairdresser. Like, why is she being
Mhm.
persistent? Like, what was it that you were like, we have to make these changes, or like, we're not going to survive in this industry?
Okay, so we were operating a four-station salon and everyone was so busy. Like we
Hmm.
couldn't take new haircuts, we definitely couldn't do new color services. We were slammed booked out, everyone was overworked.
You
And
were
then
capped
looking
out.
at the numbers, yeah, I was looking at the numbers and we weren't that profitable. So like I
Hmm.
was identifying this piece of like, okay, we're busy, but where's the profit margins? And then hearing the concept of hourly pricing, things started to click of, oh, there is a way to work smarter.
Hmm.
And it
And
really
slow
was
down.
for me, yeah, it was the hourly pricing that really grabbed.
I love that, because that's usually the thing that people are like, like the last thing someone wants to do. Like no one really comes in as
Yeah.
like, I'm gung ho on that. It's like we got to kind of work into the consciousness of it and like ease into it. I love that though. And you made a great point, and this is the biggest illusion in our industry that we have all accepted and believed is that
Mhm.
busy equals success and profit.
Mhm.
If you are busy, you are profitable. If you are busy, you are making money. And sometimes it's the complete opposite. It's like I'm exhausted. I'm not making enough because there's so many nuances and factors. So I love that you were like, okay, we have to do this. Let's jump a little bit. You're now a student. Tell me about your student experience. Like, yes, we can talk about the changes that you made in the salon and things like that, but
Yeah.
you also were coming from like a managerial
Yes.
perspective in the hype.
Mhm.
And so you had such a unique experience outside of ownership. And I say that for everyone listening because when you're an owner of a business, you are so invested emotionally, and not saying Beck you weren't because it's your mom and it's a family business and things like that, but it's different. And so you're invested emotionally, and then you get to this point where you're just like any change seems terrifying. So you had a really unique role, which actually leads me into, we're going to get into why we brought you on kind of as student
Mhm.
admin slash coach, and we'll talk about what that role looks like because you had this unemotional relationship to our methods and our consciousness and our foundations that were like, this is how you do it. And then every time someone was like, well, what if you were able to respond? So kind of tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, so since I'm not the one working behind the chair, I've never gotten to the point where I see any of the services that we do in the industry as easy.
Hmm.
So I've never had to unlearn this relationship of if it's easy or I enjoy doing it or it's fun that I shouldn't make money at it.
Hmm.
And I think you totally hit it of like my emotional experience of being in operations for a salon was so different because I watched my mom be an independent booth renter and then work out of, she had a salon on the side of the house where she was busy, but she wasn't able to build wealth. And when I walked into the hype, that was my mindset of like, how is our team going to build wealth? How is the salon going to build wealth? And the emotional experience for me was different because I wasn't in it. I was able
Hmm.
to have more of like an outsider perspective of like, ultimately, this is a business. And what
Yeah.
steps are we going to implement to strategize to make money? And I think salon owners are really uncomfortable with this idea of making money when they have employees because they don't want to be like that
Agreed.
boss.
Hmm.
And I've always been with the mindset of like, and I think you and David have said this, why work for someone who doesn't know how to make money?
Yeah. If that salon's making money, it's a good chance you're making money unless they
Yes.
are just absolutely screwing
Yes.
you,
Because
which
it's
also
it's
does
all
happen.
symbiotic.
Hmm. No,
Yeah.
you pull at my heartstrings a little bit because I'm also a daughter of a hairdresser. And, I for anybody that's listening, that's a parent behind the chair or a salon owner, we are the voices of your children. Like we have watched
Mhm.
our mothers struggle, we have watched them cry, we have watched them hurt, we have
Mhm.
watched them go into debt, we have watched them financially feel like they were in ruin over this industry and career. And your mom and my mom are the same age, so it's a whole different like hairdresser mindset from
Mhm.
that age group versus where we are. And it's hard to watch. And so I think, you were probably, I know I'm speaking for myself, but I'm dragging you into this feeling and emotion as well. But like I know whenever I really started to create the concepts with David and like really drive home Destroy the Hairdresser, a lot of it was emotional because I was like, I can't watch any more hairdressers quit the industry or end their careers like this. Like that something has to change. So there was this non-emotional, I mean, it was emotional, but there was also this like, it's a business. We need to make
Mhm.
money. What are we doing? And you kind of have that mindset too, which is super powerful.
Yeah, and I do think, like I said, my vantage point of the industry, I'm so ingrained in it. Like I understand the challenges, the obstacles of working behind the chair, but because I've never been the one to do it, my perspective, it is unique. Like I'm
Hmm.
in the industry, but I'm not the one doing the services. But
Yeah,
I have
absolutely.
a soft spot for hairdressers and
Hmm.
salon owners. Like my drive is really to help those folks.
Absolutely. Tell me about peeking behind the curtain and now fully literally being behind the curtain of DTH. We put out I think it was 2020, 2021. Maybe it was 2021.
Yes, it was the beginning of
I'm
2021.
like, everything's sticking, everything's blurring together. But we were like, we need
Mhm.
more help. Everything was growing, our coaches, our students, everything. We still need the help. But we were like, we need someone. And you applied and someone else applied. And what's funny is that we for what we were looking for, we hired someone else, but we were so,
Mhm.
like, obsessed with you and the way you thought that we were like, "We have to find a role for her." So, like, we didn't even know what that
I
was.
didn't I didn't know this.
Oh,
This is
well,
news to
hey. Well,
me.
Keely.
No,
Keely
I know.
will
I
yeah.
didn't
Hi,
I
Keely,
didn't
if you're
know
listening,
that.
we love you.
Yeah.
But we were like it was one of those things that I was like, "Beck, we wouldn't be utilizing Beck properly if we threw her into the role that we were looking for." It was, like, very numbers oriented, like, very, like, "Let's just keep track of the subscriptions," very basic. And we
Mhm.
really wanted someone that was like, "No, I wanna include my own perspective and ideas into the business." Like, we wanted you to be part of the team. And so when I was just like, "We also need to hire Beck," like, and it's so funny because then you ended up absorbing that other role.
Yeah.
Keely went off to do
Now
really
I do
cool
all of
things,
it.
and now you do all of it, but
Yeah.
that's the awesome thing, like, you came from a place of, now it's your own, like, not one time where like, we were like, we have wants and needs as business owners, obviously, but you're like, "Yeah, but, like, what if I do it this way?" And we're like, "Take it." But back to the original question, dropped a bomb on you. What what was it like coming behind the scenes? You were a student, and then you came behind the scenes in a administrative role, which is so different than when people go from student to coach.
Mhm. Well, I am here to share all the secrets of Destroy the Hairdresser and tell
Please
everyone what
tell them.
actually happens. And honestly, there's nothing.
It's pretty boring
Um,
behind the
yeah.
scenes.
Yeah.
We talk all day,
I
every day, and I would say
uh
45% of it is work and the other is,
yeah, yeah.
hot
I
topics.
would say it was really profound to witness that the coaches, you and David, everyone who's on the team, were fully embodying the concepts
Mhm.
of like consciousness, emotional intelligence, all of those pieces. It's not just lip service. Like
Yeah,
this,
we
the
is what we
back
preach.
end is ran the way that we coach salons.
Absolutely.
And so, and it's funny because I had a conversation with David recently where he was like, yeah, what like an incredible position to be in to have a conversation when you're being reactive to identify these things. And I was like, oh, right. I forgot that that's not normal, quote unquote, or average interactions.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, behind the scenes, it's coaches who are salon owners who are incredibly dedicated to their salons, their staff, and their students. And we do coach training monthly, and we have weekly meetings where we're focusing on challenges and wins and consciousness. Like working for DTH, you get into that really like stretchy space of challenging yourself
Yeah,
in a
and
really
constantly.
incredible, yes,
Even you as student
constantly.
admin, and that's why I
Yeah.
wanna share your role, like, that's your official title.
Mhm.
But we honestly have to come up with something way better than that,
We
like,
we we yeah.
Spec the superhero. I don't know because well, a couple things. Not only did you learn our entire curriculum and as a
Mhm,
manager, we're able to implement
mhm,
it in the salon.
mhm,
So you have that experience of every other student that goes through it outside
mhm,
of ownership. And then you came behind the scenes and you are dealing with student challenge after student challenge. And for a few years now, you've been doing our free coaching calls slash discovery calls. So basically, when someone's wanting to learn more about our program or just wanting some advice and seeing if we'd be a good fit for that, they talk to you. And essentially, what happens in that call, and they talk that you can talk to our coaches too, but if you don't pick a coach, you're talking to back.
mhm,
And essentially, what happens in that call is like it truly is a free coaching call. So, not only were you part of all of our coach trainings, all of our meetings, still managing the back end, still being trained by myself and David, and
mhm.
had the perspective of a student, you went through the whole coaching journey without being a traditional DTH coach. So that when you're in those calls, you're fully coaching the students. Tell
Oh,
me kind of like
yes.
what that's like when you get those calls, because you hear horrible situation, problem after problem in these calls.
Yeah, I do feel like I have like a, what is it? A finger on the pulse of the
Yeah.
industry, right? Like, because I'm talking to so many folks, and I do start off the conversation with letting them know, like, if you were to call, we would set up a discovery call. I let you know this is a coaching call. I want to
Mhm.
know pain points, goals, and then we're diving into consciousness and strategy.
Yeah.
And the intention behind that is to really give people a peek into what it's like having a coach. And often what I'm hearing is people who are salon owners or hairdressers, they're putting emotional strain on their relationships because they don't have anywhere to put these thoughts, this conversation. It's always talking about business with their spouse or with their friends, and then they're having to explain the hair industry, et cetera, et cetera. And then also hearing people who are killing it and they're
Mhm.
looking for support. And then there's also people who are in dire positions and they're like, I don't know what else to do. And
Yeah.
so I'm speaking to people who are experiencing the full gamut of salon ownership and genuinely and honestly telling them if Destroy the Hairdresser would be the right fit. Because on occasion, there are some folks where I'm like, I don't think this is what you're looking for. And then also pairing them with the coach that I think would be the best fit for them.
Yeah, which
And
is so
I d
special. It's not just like, oh, you're signing up and you're getting thrown like in a salon where they're like, "Who's available?" No, no, no. It's like
no.
we've even had coaches that were like, "I've hit my limit. I don't want any more new students," but this student would be so perfect for them, and you're like, "Can you take
I
this student?
think
Like they
yeah.
need to be yours."
Yeah.
And they always say yes, but
And honestly, I pride myself on the fact that once I was doing more of the calls, we don't have coach switches.
mhm,
Like, I
yeah,
feel like a master matchmaker of
yes.
who I yes,
For
yeah,
those listening that
and I
aren't in the
enjoy it.
program, we offer so much freedom, like, within our program, like, we don't hold you to a financial, like, contract, like, if you need to leave the program, you can leave the program, it's no questions asked, and another thing too is we allow like, if you're not vibing with your coach, like, let's get you fit with another coach, so there's a lot of freedom and flexibility in, like, your needs within our program, but I love what Beck said, is, like, that happens less and less since you've been doing these calls because you are the matchmaker of these students to their ideal coach and what they need, which is
Mhm,
that's powerful. And that just means you know our coaches like the back of your hand too, because you got, I mean, and you've had coaching calls with our coaches to be like,
mhm.
where are you succeeding? Where are you, where do you need help? So then you know where to place these students, which I think is it's so special. Like it really is, because if I'm investing in a program and it's a disruptive one where I know I'm going to be making changes and that it's going to kind of, you know, shake things up a little bit, like I want to know that I'm with the perfect person, that they are invested in me, that they are prepared for me, that it's perfect. So,
I'm glad that you mentioned that piece of, like, someone signing up for a coaching program. DTH definitely has, like, a disruptive air to it in our
mhm,
marketing. But when I'm talking to people who are booking their free coaching call or discovery calls, I just really want to instill and let them know that we take coaching and the role that we have with these people and their businesses so incredibly seriously. Like,
absolutely.
we understand the impact that these changes are going to have on you, your livelihood, your staff, their livelihood. Like, I, I think there is an impression that DTH comes in and we kind of flip everything upside down.
Mhm.
And that is so
Yeah.
far from the
You don't
truth.
realize that everything got flipped upside down to like, I mean, it really is up to the student. Like some students are like
Yeah,
gung ho and
let's
do
do
a
it.
whole bunch of
Right.
things. But
Yeah.
sometimes like you look back after like a year, sometimes even 2 years, and you're like, oh my God, my business truly is flipped upside down. Like nothing is the same. It's not like we're coming in and we're like, get rid of that and throw that away and
No,
change
it's
this. And
true. It's true transformation, and it's coming from what the salon owner is wanting to do.
and it's
We're
still
not
up to them.
Y yes, it's all based off of, like, your vision, your business, what works for you, and yeah, I talk to people and they're like, "I don't know if I'm ready," and it's like, the coach will be there to hold you accountable, and
Yeah,
then we can assess readiness. Get
absolutely.
into the yes, yeah, start working with a coach.
You know, I want to kind of go into your journey as a coach a little bit because one of the reasons we were really trying to fit, we were like, okay, like Beck, you're so good at student admin. So of course, like selfishly, I don't ever want to lose you in that role. But I think you know you're good at it too. So you're like, okay, well,
Mhm.
how can we do both? So there was this level of like, that can't be a traditional coach. Like usually the journey of a coach is you're a student and you implement the methods within your business and then you transition into being a coach if that's something that you want to take on and do. I mean, and we obviously hire you. And your role was that I was a student, I implemented the methods, I learned them. So technically you could have gone into that role, but you had such a unique perspective as not a salon owner that I wanted you to have this way of like, no, I worked with all of the stylists in implementing their hourly pricing,
Mhm.
transitioning them through station sharing, helping them with the removal of the front desk, helping them with even their unlimited time off, their freedom in scheduling, their freedom in pricing, everything that our students learn. You were not saying Chris wasn't, because Chris had to make the hierarchy decisions as a business owner, but you
Yeah,
were
she's
that
the
like
owner. Yeah, it was all.
you were the face level
Mhm.
of like, I'm working with these stylists. And so we essentially all of our methods collectively combined, we call the new commission salon. It's a new way of doing commission. We are very pro commission. We believe that it can be the fairest pay structure for both parties, salon owner and hairdresser. And so we have coined this the new commission salon, and we've actually started launching. We actually had our first launch in September, which was incredible. And then the next launch is in October. And you are actually teaching that cohort. And I'm so excited for that because, and we're going to talk about that because you get to like, I'm so excited for the salon owners to work with you because it's not emotional. Like the way that you coach is so powerful in the sense of like when they come at you with like, well, what if the stylist gets upset and they don't want to do A, B, and C? Like you're just like, you're the owner of the business. Like, and you
Yeah.
give them advice of like, well, this is how we're going to handle this situation. This is the verbiage that we can use. This is how, so tell us kind of about the whole kind of guide us in the whole wraparound of the new commission salon and kind of your role as a coach now teaching them.
Yeah. So the new commission salon, it really is like a concentrated immersive experience of DTH and the DTH methods. And I think that this pairs really well with one-on-one coaching or on its own. If you're someone who's wanting a fast immersive experience and like transitioning your salon and the concepts, the new commission salon is incredible for that. I also think it fits really well for someone who has a multi-location business or
Agreed.
salons with business partners, because
Hmm.
then everyone is learning all of the concepts at the same time. Or if you're someone who really strives or needs a lot of structure, because the one-on-one coaching is more your pace, fitting things in with what's happening with your business. The new commission salon, we follow a structure. It's 10 classes over 12 weeks. My perspective on it is, how do I help you understand the consciousness and then lead to the implementation of these methods within that time period? And the other thing that I think is incredible about it is it's a cohort.
Yeah.
And there is something transformational and profound that happens when you're doing coaching in a group. For
Yeah.
myself, I feel like my perspective of ideas shifted when I was learning concepts through other people's experiences and us kind of being in that container together. So the new commission salon I think is very exciting. It's incredible. And I'm so thrilled to be hosting one of the cohorts, because
Same.
I've had an experience where I have brief moments with students. We have our 30-minute conversation. I pair them with a coach. I may see some updates and the transformations that they've experienced, but I haven't been able to like go through the full experience with everyone. And I'm really excited to have that opportunity and have people in that cohort.
Yeah, and something too, like our main thing is one-on-one coaching. And then we do
Mhm.
group coaching within that. So every student gets their own coach and then they're in their own homeroom with their coach and that coaches students. But then we do like bigger classes where it's kind of we're all together. We bring all the coaches students together. So it's kind of like we have a mixture of both, but we've never tried to do it where it was like group coaching first. And a lot of people were like I just want to get in and learn from you all before I
Mhm.
invest in coaching. And so we really were like, okay, like let's bring this to the table. The people that sign up, they can learn and grasp and digest and, be sponges in this. And then through one-on-one coaching after that, they can start to implement. And I think that's the great part is there's no pressure to be like, okay, yeah, you're in this for, 12 weeks, but that doesn't mean in 12 weeks your whole business is going to be changed. Like you really have to have that moment. And something that we wanted to do differently was like, okay, we could open this up to the masses. And then we were like, how is that going to be beneficial? Like I wouldn't raise my hand if there's like 20 people in a class sharing experiences. Like I don't want to feel silly. And we wanted this to be one of the big things that like for me is so special about our community is that it is a community. People are friends, people have connected. So when we created the New Commission Salon and we launched it, we were like, we only want 5 students in it as at a time. And so it's very intimate, it's small, you're working together, you're supported together as well as the coach. Tell me kind of about, what that means to you, like why that aspect is so important.
I think when you're so with the one-on-one coaching, you're in a homeroom with fellow people, but you're all in different junctures of your experience with Destroy the Hairdresser. And with the class, with being in a cohort, it really is you're transitioning through these concepts together. And I've experienced that in two different occasions. And I personally am someone who strives with group coaching. I do much
Mhm.
better with group coaching. I learn differently, my perspectives. There's just something about learning the ideas with others and having like this shared experience in this
Agreed.
place. And that's why I really wanted to facilitate the New Commission Salon with a cohort is because my personal experience with smaller cohorts and learning some concepts. I've done coaching and I've also done astrology in a
Mhm.
cohort, and there's just a different experience to it that I really resonate with.
Yeah. No, I think it is super special. And like I said, I've loved situations where I was in a group setting and
Mhm.
then transition to like, okay, like now I can bring everything that I learned in group settings or classes to my coach that is a one-on-one experience. So like I'm getting my individual kind of growth plan with that coach, which is so special. Beck, when is the next cohort? And tell us about that. When's it start? How long is it? All
Yes,
of the
the
things.
next cohort is starting on October 21st at 6 p.m. Eastern. They will be held on Mondays. It is 10 classes over the course of 12 weeks, and it is full on DTH concepts.
We're
I'm very
diving in.
excited. We're diving in.
For
Yes.
this is always the next question, but like, what if I can't make there will be replays. You will be able to watch, but they're also, what's so special is that you'll be pulled into we use a chat system called Band, so you'll have like your own homeroom with Beck where you can ask questions throughout the week. Like it's not like you just take the class and you're done. Like there's like throughout the week you can communicate with her or there'll be guidance or consciousness to keep you on your path till the next class. So like it's not just like, oh, you take the class and we're done. It's like, no, this is like you have the class throughout the week.
It
You'll be
really
communicating. It's a whole
is
thing.
it's it's igniting the beginning of your coaching journey. It's like a
Absolutely.
distilled down, concentrated starter point that's gonna like set you up for success.
This is so wonderful. Beck, thanks for being on the podcast. We're going to have you back because I think there's so much more to talk about.
I'm like, yeah, we didn't even let me go through my list of hot takes.
We should do like David and I've joked about this for years of doing an after hours podcast and like doing a subscription where we kind of like
Oh my
bust out a
god.
little wine and just kind of like go for it. But we haven't done that yet. Mostly timing. But thank you again for sharing your experience. And you know how much we love you and the students love you over here at DTH. And again, the class starts when?
October 21st.
Okay. And how can they sign up for the class?
So if you go to destroythehairdresser.com and you click on the New Commission Salon, we do have offers listed to join the cohort for the 21st. We do have payment plans, so you can
Mhm.
take a look at that. Also, if you ever have any questions about anything, you can email me at beck@destroythehairdresser.com.
BEK at destroythehairdresser.com. Awesome. I am so excited and I have a feeling it's going to sell out quickly. We're starting promotions this week, so it's going to be so great. And yeah, thank you for being on.
I can't wait. Thank you.